let's start with chapter 4. It's how's it always the chapters I get? It's always like something that really matches, like my crisis. Like, why should I be talking about crisis? Okay, my crisis. So, well, we can see that having a baby is not always a good idea in this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was really interesting. I was listening to him. I'm like, really? That's what it's supposed. I mean, this is how it feels like, dude. Man up, you know. you do feel like it, because any hard jobs that you take, you come home and you stop. You don't, you come home and you take a break. Even if you go through a very hard time at home, you don't have a 24-hour movement, and you don't have something like this new object that you're not sure what to do with that. Especially if you never had an experience. So, I mean, some of us in the group had that experience, so I was listening, okay. I mean, I was kind of not sure where it all leads. And I thought it was kind of interesting that he, actually, to be serious, he actually didn't think much of it, because he thought that what it was. It was just his exhaustion, having a new child, having a lot of work responsibilities, running a company, and had to stay up at night because he had to check on the child. And, it's interesting how sometimes in life, some things that you will never think about will save your life. Like, for example, really his wife coming up with some ideas. But before that, and I was thinking, okay, I had all the symptoms except for the weight loss. I'm like, what are you complaining about?
You're calling the guy a wuss?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, right, but it's just, I'm just being sarcastic, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking, what are you complaining about? You're losing weight right away, like, it's awesome. Well, I was like, I wish I would have that symptom.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't wish it when I realized what was actually happening. And that tells us again that we really don't know, what sometimes life have for us. Being 30 years old, just honoring his wife's request, basically, on what she thought would be a good idea to have a life insurance. So I was just thinking, what if he would be this kind of arrogant kind of guy and said, I don't need that. It's too early.
Mm-hmm.
But just by looking into what, his wife asked him, he discovers something that kind of changes their life forever and save his life, like almost in the very last moment.
Yes.
And I was thinking about the timing, how timing was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Was perfect last chance for him to actually survive and make it. And
maybe she felt something too. I thought about that also.
Yeah.
I also thought about. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go up, CJ.
I was thinking how often I probably ignore symptoms in my body. Maybe, I don't know, just being a man, like, oh, my toe is just hurting, or my arm is just this. You don't think anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, on one hand, should I just run to the doctor every time I feel a little small ache, or just how to know when to take it seriously kind of thing?
Yeah.
I was thinking too how when God wants our purpose to be realized in the world, he will do anything to get our attention. It wasn't his time yet, obviously, because the timing fell into perfect synchronicity with that whole thing of how he got saved.
Well, it would have been if he wouldn't take an action and listen and go make the exam.
Yes.
I do think that men
Mm-hmm.
think differently than women in a way.
Yeah.
Women are used to going to the doctor once a year. Men are not.
Mm-hmm.
Women go for their annual mammograms and their pap smear. So men don't do stuff like that. And so men, whenever they get like something wrong with them or whatever, they just kind of poo-poo it off like, oh, I'm not going to think about it. So I'm just, relaying it back kind of like when Chuck was not feeling good with Lyme disease. And he kind of just went, oh, I need to lose weight and I'm working on the house and, doing stuff. And meanwhile, that's not what it was at all. We both had Lyme disease, but he didn't know that at the time.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think I'm different. I think I'm in a doctor's office too much. Like I'm in the doctor's office like 4 times a year. Like, am I here again? Like, man, you here? Like, yeah. I go to the doctor like maybe like a lady goes to the hairdresser kind of thing.
I'm the same way on that.
You must have really good insurance.
What'd you say, Dana? What'd you say?
I said you must have really good insurance out there. Because I will be like so sick and I'll be like, I'm not going, not paying for it. Nope.
Yeah.
Kind of brings me back to the book, and that was my next point to make, which is Dana said. And here's something that I think everyone or maybe of us think about. It's like, unless you have like a state insurance or something, state, or you work for the state, like actually I was very lucky because my husband was working for the state, so $10,000 3 days at the hospital was like $11,000, and we paid $11 for that.
Oh wow.
He was working back for public schools, so that was awesome. I will be forever grateful for that experience because it was mind-blowing. But I was thinking about him and his real reason why he didn't want to listen to his wife and go to the emergency room was because he was like, man, it's going to be another $8,000 to just walk into that door. And I was thinking how discouraging and how discouraging the system in some ways is to be an entrepreneur, because because of the insurance thing. Of course, when you go to the next level, when you have millions, and it's like it's not a big deal. You can drop $50,000 and not notice it maybe. But when you are building something up and you are in this, have a family and you have this choice. Do I go for something that's guaranteed? I was just thinking it's a little off, but I was thinking just, you're going about something guaranteed and you have these benefits, like, so you can take care of health of your family, or you go and take a bunch of risks and you will have to basically pay out of your pocket. So that was the real thing that he didn't go to the ER really. And I think almost killed him. And that's kind of, reminded me about the grind and about like having savings, like just for health, unless you have some other ways, how important it is, because it can basically kill you when you have to make this hard choice. I actually need attention today, but oh man, I'm gonna, it's gonna be a huge financial toll on an extra serious expense.
Yeah.
And I actually was thinking about Chuck and Pat and how, how lucky they were that they were able to afford, pay, and take care of their disease by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, God knows what would be happening right now. And so the story begins when he actually, it was interesting when he came back and he saw that letter. It wasn't interesting how he saw the letter. There was nothing. There wasn't much of other signs that something is wrong, but he saw the letter and he felt like sick in his stomach, or his face became red.
Yeah, but he also lost like 33 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How much? That might not be a huge deal if you weigh 250, but if it's still a big deal. But he's at one. Like, don't you think you would if you would like losing 33 pounds without doing anything?
Like no workout, nothing.
Yeah, he only weighed 165, and he went down to 132.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so is that denial?
Yeah, I think it is. I think his wife knew. Maybe she didn't want to. Maybe her way of telling him was like, you need to get life insurance just in case you check out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking the same.
Because even his friends saw him. It was like, dude, What is
What
wrong?
happened?
She didn't tell him to go to the doctor. She said, you need to go get some life.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, you're gonna die.
I'm making plans.
When he said he gave the baby a bath and he would absolutely have to go sit down on the couch to get his breath back. That's a 30-year-old. That is,
Yeah,
there was definitely signs that he didn't want to look at. He just wanted to keep going, keep working.
I think
it was my hobby, but I was thinking, man, but it's he wasn't 30, he was like 46, so that was different.
Mm.
you know, I think all people, maybe not when, I know all men go through this. I mean, maybe women too, but once we get a little bit older, that we kind of hit that stage of denial. And you know what I mean? Because we are getting older. I thought I was invincible for the first half of my life. I mean, I really did. You know what I mean?
You were what, Sean?
I thought I was invincible for the first half of my life. Like when I was like 22, I'd go fight an MMA match, stay up all night drinking, drive to Pennsylvania and fight another one the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you try to do that at 33 and just trying to drink, you know, a couple, you know, drinks, you feel like you got hit by a Mack truck the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Yes, it's true. But I was also, you know, when I was listening to his symptoms, it did sound like at first that it's just, you know, the baby exhaustion, because you come home, you can't rest, you know, you have to. But then, you know, I was thinking about fun times, you know, also fun times you get to stay up, you know, when you're younger and having lots of fun. But that was something different, obviously. And yes, it's interesting. Is it that I was thinking also, is it that the part of a culture where you don't think you don't say what you really think? Because like Sean just said, you know, or maybe it was Dana said like that everybody notices that you don't look good. I mean, like, it's funny because everybody sometimes want to lose weight, but that was a little over the top, because I don't think he really needed to lose any. So
no, 165 is that's kind of.
He was 5'9". He was not very, you know, some people are smaller, but anyways, I was just thinking that also sometimes we gotta say what we think. Like, you know, it's like if it's that close a person to you as your wife or, you know, your son or your daughter, you gotta say what you think, because it might kill the other person. But I don't know, it just it made me think also that
his test results, type 1, correct me if I'm wrong, type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes is different. Type 2 diabetes, I think, is something that you can develop. Type 1 diabetes is actually something you're born with.
genetic. Yeah.
So I thought, like, wow, he didn't notice, like, early on, maybe he didn't have any symptoms or something, but
don't you have can't you have adult onset though?
Yes.
It's called juvenile diabetes.
Yeah, and that's worse, isn't it? That's almost worse, isn't it?
Really.
Has anybody had
Curable, type 1 is not.
Mm.
Type 2, you can get off insulin based on diet and exercise and all that stuff. Type 1, you cannot. You'll be on it for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Why didn't they just come up with another name for diabetes?
Yeah, no
You
kidding.
didn't have to keep track of which one is 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They should have just called it a different name.
Right.
Can I ask you guys, has anybody in here ever been so driven or so maxed out that you did make yourself literally physically sick?
Oh, I threw myself in the hospital twice.
You
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
You did? I gotta
Yeah.
hear that. If you don't mind, Veronica, is that gonna sway you off?
no, totally not. It's a very short chapter, so go ahead.
Really?
Yeah, if you want to share.
Early, it's like 2015 when I first like launched it, and I mean, I bumped up from like roughly making like 70 grand a year to that first year that we really launched the agency. It bumped me up like around 250 a year, and I was working literally 20 hours a day. I was not sleeping. I had a doctor who his every instance was give me a pill for something. Okay, so I can't focus. I'm not sleeping. Here's some Adderall. My back hurt. Here's some Percocet. Boom, boom, boom. I wasn't eating right. Just to be very honest.
Mr. Man.
Yeah, I mean, just to be very honest, that was back when I did still smoke weed. Okay, and so that's all I did all day. Pretty much was I was on Adderall, wasn't eating, drank coffee, and then when I did want to relax, I smoked some pot. Okay, so I mean, I worked 20 hours a day. I literally didn't have a day off for 9 months. I did that for 9 months, and then one day I just woke up and I got real lightheaded and kind of went into the side of the wall. My wife called an ambulance, and they had something that was they did a test on me, and it registered for a heart troponin, which is an enzyme that your heart puts off when it's not right. Something's wrong. And then I sat roughly at 34 years old, I was in a heart place. I was down here in southern Indiana, and they put me through the tests and stuff like that, and the enzyme, the troponin enzyme, went away. I went through the stress test. They actually did something called a nuclear test where they put it, I drank some type of like dye and stuff like that when I did the stress test so they could see it.
Wow.
And and that was actually the second time. The first time wasn't that far bad. The first time was actually when I was actually in the fighting still, and I was just constantly trying to work and just go and travel and do the circuits and stuff like that. And I got a small cut on my foot. And Abdul, you got a real physical background. I end up, I was in someone else's gym training, and I don't know which one it was, but my foot started swelling up real bad. And I had a real bad blood infection in one of my legs, and I've been running around fighting on it. And they almost took my leg on that one and almost killed me.
Whoa.
Sean.
So,
Wow.
So now, with those two things being said, I'm kind of the reverse of where I used to never would go to the doctor. Now my wife thinks I'm a hypochondriac. Now I'm always trying to go to the doctor. So, but that's one thing too is WebMD. Don't ever Google symptoms or something, because WebMD will make you think you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Every symptom. Yeah.
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 Chuck, you did too? You had the same thing?
Yeah. I just work myself. A similar thing, just working too many hours, just work, lots of stress, and just end up sick, get better, and then before I know it, get back to working again. And I was on that cycle, like when I was in my 30s. And just working way too much.
Yeah.
Mine always showed up with a fever. I just get a fever and then it knocks me out for 2 or 3 days. Usually from working, stress, not getting rest, that type of thing.
Yeah, our body tells us to slow down, doesn't it? I mean,
it made me slow down.
wow.
What about you, Terrell?
No, I haven't. I must be too much of a hedonist or something. I've never been, not really. I mean, I guess there was a few years in about that same age range where I'd get like a migraine about once a year at Christmas time. You know, anybody could get a migraine at Christmas, right? I mean.
Yeah, no wonder.
But other than that, no, I've never worked myself that hard. I gained weight that I don't like.
Yeah.
And, but other than that, I think it's interesting and wild that look at how driven you guys are to get. Yeah, I don't know.
But stupid though. I just.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it, dude. That's another thing too. When you work 20 hours a day, I don't care how much money you make. When you don't have enough time to actually spend the money. Screw that. You know what I mean?
Enjoy the life, and you don't have what Sean is saying. Like when you don't have time to actually, feels that you
enjoy. Enjoy things.
You enjoy your family and your life, and I could. It's funny when I listened to the beginning of the chapter. I was thinking, wow, this sounds like I think every parent here in the room said, man, this sounds just like me. But I've never been to the hospital from exhaustion or anything like that. But I definitely ran myself into it when my son was actually not a newborn, because when he was a newborn, things were different and I was doing awesome. I mean, as for a newborn mom, but it happened a little later when some things went bad in my marriage. He was still little. He started coming around, and I started the business. So what happened to me, I just want to kind of stress how important sleep is. So I thought I was a superpower woman because I work at night on my business, and in the daytime I take care of my son. And before I knew that, I just was a wreck. And what happened, my body took my sleep away from me completely. It's almost like, oh, okay, you don't want to sleep at night? Okay. So I didn't sleep at night, and I was taking care of him in the daytime, you know. So I could not, like, for a while I lost being able to fall asleep and sleep. And I do not believe in these pills that put you to sleep. I do not believe in that. So I know what it does to people. I never had sleep problems. I knew that I need to go into depths and change something. And this is a big difference between like our mentality. I had fights with my ex-husband about it. He would say, just go on the pills, go on a sleeping pill, go on the anxiety pill. Like, it was funny because I was hurting about things not working out. And he said, just take anxiety pill, take depression pill. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to go in the root of the problem and take care of it and do it. So that's a huge difference where we never agreed. We had fights about it. It's really crazy because I was insist that I can fix it. I need to fix my life. Then that will go away. And I was thinking about it, that this kind of deprivacy, when we go in this vicious cycle, you just, you know, when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. And
yeah, good one, Veronica.
I was embarrassed to tell my family. I didn't know what, I was like, you know, supposed to have happy life, you know, I'm here in US and it's just like big disaster. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to appear weak. So I was isolated. Yeah. Just admitting my kind of, you know, I refused to appear weak for others, for my friend network and his friends network. But so I felt really isolated, but then I realized that something needs to change, and it has to, you know, I'm going to be the one doing it. I never went to any doctors. I never took any anxiety pills, which everybody, like whole crowd of people were trying to. So I just want to say I can relate to Sean because everybody wanted to put me on something. I'm like, how about if I change what causes that rather than covering the symptoms? So it was really awesome that, you know, that this guy actually went and checked this. And it brings us to the point when he actually, you know, finding himself in the hospital, really isolated from his family, you know, having a newborn, not really be able to see much of anybody. But also he realizes, like, first time in his life where he's actually sitting still.
Yeah. Yes. That's when you can think. You get all the monkey chatter out of your head, and you don't have anything else to look at, think about, or run and do and be distracted with. That is so true. It was forced evaluation, wasn't it? I mean, it was.
Yeah.
And I think also that we don't realize I think we go on in life and we don't realize how fragile sometimes we are.
Yeah.
And I like when the doctor took him by the shoulders and looked him straight in the eye and told him, you know, Ryan, with these results, you should be in a coma.
Yeah.
Because I think we go on, and I really think especially men.
Yeah.
Not to say anything against the women in the group here, but especially with men tend to go on further than women and push themselves beyond boundaries.
We think about that breadwinner thing.
Yeah, it must be. And I don't know, maybe it's from caveman days. I don't know. But it's just like they push themselves beyond reaches. And like if someone tells you, you know, with your insulin level being in the 500s, you should be in a coma, that's true.
And this is why I think, and the 5 a.m. book club, I think has helped with this. Like, I know now if I go close to the 12 mark, like 12 a.m., like, oh, I'm going to be hurting tomorrow. So now in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, it has to be in between maybe 9:30 and 10:30. That's the sweet spot. It's before you're going to sleep. And then right after that, you know, right after we get off, I go straight to the gym. And I think those healthy routines and eating right and things like that all could just kind of help keep the machine going, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Right. I learned that too past couple of years. You know, the late nights, the you know, and everybody like the entrepreneur niche, you know, they all like to say that, the late nights and the early mornings. If you stay up 2 hours past your given time on the night, you're just stealing that from the next day. You're not gaining anything.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We talked about that with Dave Ramsey, you know, and he was like, there's no glory in it. And and there's no time to sharpen sharpen the saw. And everybody knows that story about the, you know, the lumberjacks cutting the trees. And I think it's
What do you mean the
really
lumberjacks
true.
cutting a tree, Dana? What do you
About
mean?
the two guys that are both cutting the tree down, and I'm not a very good storyteller, but they're in a competition, you know, to both cut their the tree down, and they both worked the same amount. They both worked really hard, and what I think the story goes, the first lumberjack actually worked longer, and the second lumberjack finished twice, and the first guy went to the second guy and said, well, I worked 3 hours longer than you, and you finished before I did. And the second lumberjack said, well, what you didn't see is that at lunchtime I stopped and sharpened my saw. So, I don't know how the story goes, but I mean, the point was that
good one.
Yeah.
the guy stopped to think about, think about things. And I think that there's a point where, where you're in a startup business and you need to put in some extra hours,
Yes.
but, and really, kick it in gear and whatever. But,
Dana,
12 hours a day is crazy.
Yeah.
You're right about that. Actually, let me just see what the name of I'm reading a book now called Deep Work, and it talks about non-distracted work for like 4-hour periods.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like you gave the story of the lumberjack. It seems like in history, we always have these examples of like that's a good story, lumberjack, and then the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise, the hare just goes crazy, boom, fast, and then he takes a break, whatever, and the tortoise just kind of slow, steady pace kind of thing, and it always wins. But I don't know. I just think that you can get a lot more done sometimes if you just have undistracted work for like that 4-hour period and kind of, think about the game plan and do some things. And then, because in this book, the guy describes Olympic athletes, sprinters. He said, you think they train all the time, which they don't. They train, but they take a lot of naps during the day. They take a lot of rest and recovery and things like that, because that's just as important as the training.
I like that.
Right.
And the other thing he said in this book, in the book we're in now, and I love what you just said, Abdul, because it's like the one thing. Remember when we read that book? Find one thing. And he said that as well in the book, that he had to figure out, and then instead of 10 different things and being all over the place, so he knew his real gift was helping give people what they want, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was kind of amazed that he was able to actually define that gift, because identify that, because it sounds like if somebody asked me like what what career I want to have, like somebody, let's say, don't know, or they say, I want to figure out what people want and what they really want and give it to them, like what profession is that?
Yeah.
Life coach.
Yeah. But it was brilliant. So because life put him in a situation when he had to take a break, and he wasn't in a red race. He wasn't running. He wasn't feeling so well, but he was just laying there. So he had this chance to actually ask himself important questions. And like Terrell just mentioned, a great point, out of everything he was doing, he was able to actually answer what really is his most favorite thing to do, which is unusual to most people that maybe not in a creative entrepreneurial niche, but he knew exactly what that means. And also, I think coming so close, like he says, coming so close to his own mortality, nothing else helps, like he says, was clarity and focus.
And you know who I thought of when he talked about that, about the one thing, was you, CJ, because of the love for video, that's it.
Yep.
And you knew it from early on about machinery. And remember how you said you watched those episodes of Laverne and Shirley? I can't get that out of my head because I remember that. But I mean, yours is so clear for you. I love that. And that you got it right away.
Yes. So that was interesting that, yeah, but you know, sometimes we need to step back and look on what's going on. And he, you know, this unfortunate situation helped him so much to get clarity on what he really wants to do, and he realized that he needs to get focused on that.
And you're gonna find out throughout the book too. And I kind of
Mm-hmm.
cheated a little bit and went into the chapters with her, but
Not
he's a guy that really goes hard. I mean, like the guy goes in the Chinese program. I mean, he's trying to
Yeah.
get extra, you know,
Can you believe
points on his SAT.
88 days for Chinese. I could not believe that.
Yeah, you come out like fluent.
I cannot believe that. I was thinking about Russian. I would wonder if anybody, well, I guess if they can do it with Chinese, but I don't know. It's just, I was so impressed by the Mandarin story. But
Yeah,
it blew my mind.
yeah. He's a brainiac. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe this is the next chapter too, where he paid for 2 years of his college, but he just seems like that brainiac guy that always is searching for new information.
Yeah, that was, you know, it's not cheating if we read through the book. I mean, we can read book 10 times if we need to. Just so
Oh yeah, I'm just messing around to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, Abdul, you know, we basically covered almost a chapter. Actually, I wanted you to share about time when you had the situations. I think you shared at least one time you had something that you felt you kind of ran yourself into exhaustion. Not to mention, you know, I was just thinking, I just want to say, I was thinking
Yeah.
about it, and I absolutely agree that being in 5 a.m. book club is totally life-changing, because we had to adjust what we thought was we are productive, we are hustlers, like we work through the night, because I know Abdul was up, because everybody, like I would always see his green light, I was up, and you know, was I more chatting or was I more working? Like, was I
Yeah.
get videos and la la la, or was I really working on my end job? Like, it's, you know, I was kind of like, so you know, it kind of helped me to realize it's a question of a discipline more than anything, and
Yeah.
it transform your life. So I'm really like forever grateful to 5 a.m. book club for just, you know, when you have to do this, you know, somehow now all of a sudden you do fall asleep. Maybe.
You switch your schedule.
Yeah.
No, with me, my situation was similar to Sean. You know, got up to go to the restroom, and all of a sudden, boom, went to the side of the wall. I'm like, oh, what is this? And then I had like double vision. Like I was literally like, look at the ceiling, and I would see like 3 ceilings, and I'm just like, what the heck is this? So I didn't go in right away, but when I finally went in, I had to get wheeled in with a freaking wheelchair, and I go in, I'm like, am I having a stroke? Like, what is this? I'm checking out symptoms. And then the doctors thought like, oh, he had a stroke. Like, there was literally a time he said, just lay down the bed and relax. And then the doctor came back in the room and boom, pushed the door open and was like, don't lay down. Don't tilt your head or something. We may have to go into surgery. I'm like, surgery? He was thinking about like brain. And I'm like, he said, it looks like a stroke or whatever. We may have to rush you to this place. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? But it let me know that, because at that time I was doing the 5K thing. I had all kinds of stuff going on, and I'm just like, this is crazy. And I told myself that I have to find a way to take it easy, because you only have one life.
Did your wife notice that you were not doing so well?
Yeah, but it's so funny because during this time it was like St. Patty's Day. And they went out and partied and everything, and I'm sitting there like still seeing 3 things. I'm like, oh my gosh, they just left me at the they just left me at the freaking house. But yeah, so I learned.
But still, notice you had not changed only with the 5 a.m. book club. You really changed your.
Yeah, I changed my whole sleeping pattern and everything. Yeah.
Same for me. I tried like 3 days out of the week. Like I've been trying to do this, guys, so just, you know, for 2 years before I joined the book club. So half of the week I would go to bed early. I wake up full of energy. Like, man, I felt like I'm 15 years old. Like I have so much energy. Like I'm the child. Like I can like move the mountains. Then the last half of the week I would be like, man, this night looks so good. Let me just sit here and like I'm working. So, but when you put yourself in a system that's powerful because you don't have the backup, you know what works. You know you gotta be there. So.
But I think what Sean said is right. When you stay up too late, you rob yourself the next day.
Yeah.
But Chuck, you guys go to bed pretty early. You guys go to bed like, I know my grandparents used to go to bed right after the news. Like that was the time. When the news is off, you go to bed. Like you guys go to bed around 10 o'clock, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and even if a person's just doing one of those things like eating right or working out or getting good sleep, I mean, and you do have to go into a high stress time, I think it carries you through because I'm sure one of the reasons I haven't had one of those things is because I've always worked out. I haven't always eaten right. I haven't always gotten my sleep, but I've always at least done something for working out. So I think it saves my butt, you know, or did.
And that's preventive care.
Yeah.
You know, you're working on yourself before something happens.
Yeah, just one good habit helps a person. Like I always think Chuck and Pat, you guys eat so well. I mean, you really do.
Yeah.
They do a lot of things well.
You what?
Yeah, we do a lot of things well.
Yeah, we know what else you do really well too.
I actually look up to Chuck and Pat a lot on some of my habits and goals. I really do. That's why I look up a lot to a lot of you and stuff, a lot of stuff on that. I don't have a lot of positive, and I don't mean like my wife or anything like that, but just actually my environment. I don't have like a lot of positive reinforcement out here. I've had I've had probably about 9 friends in the past 6 months die of heroin overdoses.
Wow,
stuff like that. I just, it's really sad. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's, I'm really, that's why this group is so good for me, is because it really is a positive reinforcement. And then the industry I'm in, it's one thing about the industry, car business though, is as bad as the car business is, they always offer phenomenal insurance. So I was thinking about that when you were saying that earlier. We got really good insurance in the car business, but it's just I'm probably gonna make a transition in the next 6 months to get out of it. To be very truthful, I'm gonna work more towards like digital products and stuff like that. But you guys are awesome.
It's real high stress industry.
I was so surprised. I'm sorry to cut you, Chuck. I apologize. I just want to say I'm so glad you're back. I was so surprised. I know you actually have a small baby, like except for us, but you have a really tiny baby, and then with all the things you do, I was so surprised. And actually, I wanted to ask you, what did bring you back?
Well, I mean, I finally just got some stuff off my plate, and he's not tiny anymore. He's literally, he's Gary turned 10 months, and he's we're size 5 diapers, and we can't buy onesies no more. I mean, they're just not big enough. You know what I mean? Big boy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've just had a lot of stuff going on, and just
it's great. No, but it's great to have you. Most people that left, they never came back.
Well, I mean, it was not so much an issue. I mean, I tell you, it was not so much an issue. It was getting to bed in time. Because I had a lot of stuff that was going on overseas, like in Israel and also in Thailand stuff, and I had to be up at night really kind of manage the employees, and I couldn't do it. I didn't want to go back to going to bed at 3 o'clock and getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning again.
Yeah.
And
you'll end up getting sick.
Yeah. And I'm just not old enough. I mean, maybe when I was like between my 20s and stuff like that, but I physically can't do it no more. You know what I mean? Nor do I want to be honest. But
Chuck, what did you want to say?
Oh, I had said it. That was it.
He said, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's good. It's good to have that routine in place.
Yeah.
It is.
Something I really struggle with now too that I'm working on is my diet. It is that's why I kind of went towards the vegan and stuff like that. And I got like tons of cookbooks and but when I was younger, man, with my body frame and stuff like that, it didn't matter what I ate. I could just stay lean. I mean, I think most people have that problem when they get older. They don't burn fat the way that they do and stuff like that. But
it was interesting. Like in the beginning of the book, I was laughing because he found himself like in Doritos and the Red Bull and something else. I'm like, and he said my essentials. I'm like, man, you have one hell of essentials. Like, like this is like most unhealthy things. It's like just this cultural thing I've never kind of get into. So for me, it's like I always feel like an alien because, and actually for you guys, it's not, because people in this group, like more or less, I mean, some taking care of themselves. But I was like, that's one hell of essentials, like whole bunch of junk food and an energy drink.
And that probably causes type 1 diabetes to kind of be, spiraling out of control because I don't know about that, but I mean, if you eat correctly, I don't think you would have that. What do they call it? The insulin spike or something, whatever. I don't think you would have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But yeah.
And like Sean, I was just going to say is because Abdul, I've watched you switch to almost completely vegan. I mean, we've watched you as fruit.
Yeah.
Change your eating dramatically, even though you were always fairly healthy, weren't you?
Yeah, but I still had I haven't had a soda in probably close to a year.
And you've stopped all alcohol. Dana's stopped all alcohol. I still will have wine or vodka, but I mean, we've all made some changes, even our eating, and it's a successful transition for most of us. Like, look at Dana's gone.
I didn't know she had pretty much went all vegan though. Like, I know that.
Vegan. That girl is it. She's doing it.
Wow, that's cool.
And
it's those little things I think that help, because if you don't want to be in a doctor all the time, you better do some preventive care. Do something, because I mean, going to the gym, drinking water, cutting out the sodas.
Yeah.
I mean, I pretty much just drink water. I used to drink a lot of energy drinks. Now I cut those out. So now it's just mostly just water.
Oh my gosh, I used to have vodka, like in my early days, vodka Red Bull.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to mix those, you know?
Yeah.
But oh well. It's funny. I didn't have soda since I was like 12, because I saw grown up, I think like I was like, okay. Like it's for kids, and I limit my son to like one soda. I never bought him. I bought him soda maybe three to four times in his life.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bad thing.
He called his dad and his grandma his American parents. When he goes to his American parents, he has some soda and I give him halibut. I give them halibut. I just said, well, just one.
That's good.
Yeah. But it's really interesting how, the last thing I want to say, that every little thing we do kind of wrong, we're not taking care of, every little thing adds up to our plate.
It does.
It was just not one thing. It was, neglecting how you feel, not getting enough of sleep, having horrible diet, not being able to stop and maybe like take a breath and meditate and think what you really want to do. Having like a really bad schedule. I feel like all this paid off to such an early, serious health crisis. And,
I have a question to ask. How many here, when you're going through your lifestyle, you may stop something when you know, like, I got to be up tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Like, how many of you kind of like, this being here kind of prevents you from going down other little things?
All hands up.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that saving grace for me. It stops everything. It stops a lot of things. Like, as soon as you think you're about to go, you're like, oh, but I got to get up in the morning and I got to do this and then it's going to be hard. So I just cancel that out.
No, you may not go to an event. You decide not to go to someone's house, or, you just don't maybe socialize as much. I don't know. You just
make better decisions.
You make better
decisions.
decisions.
Better decisions. Yeah, I agree.
You know it's going to affect something else.
Right.
You rebuild. You know what I really love about it, because I do believe that your next day starts at your night before.
Yeah.
And, sometimes, don't do this absolutely every day, but my goal is to have this really nice wind down process. Like, it's my favorite thing to do, because, when you let yourself to wind down at night, you literally X all the windows, like you close the computer, you close all the windows, and you kind of tell there is nothing I have to do right now. Hey, Lucky.
You say hello. He's Lucky. Say I have to go outside.
I want to ask a question based on Veronica bringing up your next day start the night before. Sean, did you complete your Panda planner last night?
The trash truck's here at my office. I'm trying not to. Sorry. No, I actually did. I did not.
So you did or did not?
No, I did not.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. You said that yesterday, I think, Yolanda, about your day starts the night before. I think you said that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I guess I I like getting up in the morning and doing that. Like I wrote my one out last night, but I had a really good day yesterday. I just said screw it and took the day off. That's what I did. Me and my wife. My wife's birthday's in October. She's a bit of a horror movie buff. We literally watched pretty much almost all of the Friday the 13th series yesterday.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It was a good day. We ordered a veggie pizza last night, and we just relaxed. Just relaxed. Taught my son how to give me a high five. You know what I mean? It was just a day off. So I mean, I didn't really do much of anything yesterday. So.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And you know, it's okay to have that on your planner. Do nothing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll just put
that in itself is a goal.
Yeah, it's recharging.
Yeah, I never knew that horror movies can really recharge you, but I guess you know it's funny. I guess your taste, you both like it. Like if you can.
Well, it's funny because you look at it how cheesy they are.
Oh,
from a storytelling standpoint, from a storytelling.
One of my
CJ, you're scared of it, huh?
Yeah, and then from a storytelling standpoint, there's so many inconsistencies. Like I've never actually sat there and watched all of them.
Yeah.
None of it made any sense. Not a single lick at all. I mean, there's so much inconsistencies in the story and stuff like that. And I mean, there was a little bit that was into it because I'm really, really getting more into like just really kind of film production and stuff like that. I know so much the video side of it, but the creative process that goes into it. And, yeah, it's I had to take a little break, and I read a little bit while I was sitting there, and it was a relaxation day. I mean, we really didn't do much. We really didn't do much outside of just sit on the bed and chill.
Yeah, this is awesome. Like sometimes you do need to take the day off, and then you come back strong. You're ready to kill it, and it's important to recharge. But still, like if I watch a horror movie, probably knock me out for the whole week.
They say if you plan to do nothing and you actually accomplish it, you're a good planner. Because doing nothing requires for everything that you would be doing to be already done or delegated.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true to that.
Because you can't plan to do nothing and then have to go back to it the next day. That's not a good planner. That's just putting off today to tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that sometimes I'm into some weird stuff, and I have to be careful that maybe I should just research it in the night. I won't go into it now. One day I'll share it here. But I know I notice when I get into that type of research, I get stuck in a little zone, and I'll just go down, and I could be in it for hours.
Yeah. So you should earlier.
So that's a loop. Abdul, my one of my girlfriends, she's a doctor, and she's very into education. Like she loves education. Anything that's learning related, she'll do it. And she gets stuck in that same exact thing. It's called a loop. Because when you click one place after you read that one word in that whole thing you just read, it'll make you click somewhere else and click somewhere else. And 5 hours later, you're like, what got me here? How did I get here?
Yeah.
As far as this stuff is concerned. But then you download a lot of that knowledge. Some of it you may never use again, but you were stuck in that loop. They call it a loop on purpose. And she told me why. I just can't remember. But and that's where the word, the phrase analysis paralysis comes from.
Yep. I agree with that.
And people, they talked about Google and why it was successful, why it's the #1 search engine in the world, is because they know how to get you stuck in that loop.
You just keep going.
Oh yeah! Wow, that's cool. So basically, I'm done. If anybody wants to say anything, you can just finish.
No, I just think the thing is, I think part of entrepreneurship or just anything is resting. There are certain things and habits you can do to help take care of yourself, and that's eating right, sleeping, getting your sleep, recharging, trying to work in some and maybe some undistracted time.
Yes, true.
Yeah, I've been doing lately working in the woods. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow,
Interesting.
It's, like I've noticed I can be distracted easily. Like even if a person walks, like I can no longer do coffee shops, none of that kind of thing. You can literally just park your car in the woods and just get lost.
Yeah.
There's gonna come a time where we will be your distraction at the rate you're going.
Yeah.
You say, no, but I mean, I'm serious. Like, I don't know. I'm sure you guys know your best hours of when you should work. But that undistracted time, especially I'm learning in the book, Deep Work, you got to have that in your life, your business. You got to have time to think. You got to have time to see what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. And you have to have that 4 hours or less. So whatever, but 4 hours or more, just unfocused. Focus, undistracted time is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
You know, something I noticed with myself this week, and it was ever since reading and hearing about Pat Flynn and about the guy, the Ask guy, how he created businesses that has nothing to do with his passion. I really believe that I've been holding myself back because I've been holding on to it's what I'm passionate about, and I let that go. But for the last 2 days, for 2 hours at night, my best hours is at night. It's not during the day. During the day, I want to do what I want to do, lounge, relax, go hang out, and whatever. But my best hours is at night. And the last 2 days, today's Thursday, so it's been the last 3 days, I've come home, jumped on a computer, or got up and jumped on a computer and given myself 2 hours of solid work and be able to get stuff done, launch something, and it's just worked. And I'm like, holy crap, imagine if I do this every day. And another thing I noticed with that, though, is because my kids are surrounding me, they've been gone to school and all of that stuff, they're surrounding me, it aggravates me that they're there and talking and having, you know, like I want to be in that room locked in just for solid hours. Yeah. I can't afford that at this moment to, you know, not have them around me. But sometimes I'm screaming like, get out, shut up, you know, whatever, because I'm in a zone and it's just whatever I'm doing is jumping on me. I'm getting it quickly. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? What's this trend? But it was like an aha moment and the light bulb went off. You know, I actually shared that with one of my girlfriends who is doing an online thing. And I said, you know, you have to keep your people engaged. Now, I don't know how to do any of that. I'm just repeating what I heard. And so I proved myself as if you know more than one person, you can coach it.
Okay, yeah.
You can do it, right? So I said to her, create 52 of these types of blogs to keep your people engaged. And she was like, oh my God, and the light bulb went off for her. People charge you to hear that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was talking to Dana, and Dana said that she went to one of her clients' house, and they had a bomb shelter in the house, and I totally related this. She said, she's like, I could work in there, like literally go in there, and I think I could work in a submarine, like pull the latch down, the hatch down, and just kind of get lost, because especially with that ADD, always thinking, easily distracted mind. Yeah. If you find those undistracted, you know, where you don't get so distracted places, you can get into some deep thinking. Yeah, and you can get so much done, and actually you really enjoy to have full focus. It's kind of it's almost like a meditation, because the only thing right now you think is your project, and it takes your thoughts out of all the other. I find it like when and I think we are able to create it because we know our weaknesses. I think once you know it, it's up to you to do that environment. Yep, I agree. So, you know, one of my biggest takeaways from this year is to be focused, like to realize I was a big believer always in multitasking. I was so proud of myself because you know, here is dinner, here's laundry, here is I'm reading a book, here is I'm answering emails, here is I'm playing with my son. I was, man, I'm just this wonderful, you know, I'm just this like this superwoman, like everything just like shines, and like when I'm there. And I was so mad back in time with my husband. I'm like, damn, you're so slow. He was doing one thing at a time, which actually was so bad. But I was like, damn, it's like it was driving me nuts inside. I'm like, can't you get it all going? Like, yeah, divided focus is a bad thing. I've definitely learned that. Yeah.
and you know, and we think that, oh, but I got this done, but you know, maybe you got it done, but you were not, you did not put your best for sure because it was provided.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lady that has a program, a $300 program, that teaches you how to declutter and get organized. And one of my girlfriends bought it, and she's been on it since like Sunday maybe. And she has been decluttering and getting organized. What she noticed was now when it's time to get up in the morning, she's already awake. And I've been inviting her to the 5 a.m. book club because she has a PhD in international studies. And she's very much a book nerd. And I wanted her to experience the book club. But anyway, what she's noticed now that she's up at 5 a.m., she's not just laying in the bed anymore. She's getting up and getting at it. And it's because the decluttering is happening so she doesn't feel overwhelmed. One of the things she was telling me that the lady told her in the book, in the program, was go ahead the night before and clean off your bathroom counter. You'll be so proud of yourself in the morning. And I'm like, what? You know, like that doesn't make any sense. So she went ahead and did it, but the lady told her, don't touch nothing else, just the top of your counter. Whatever is not supposed to be there, take it off. And before she even went to bed that night, she did it. And before she even went to bed that night, she looked in that bathroom from her room where she can see it, and felt very accomplished. Like she wanted to go back and finish the rest, like do under the sink and all that. And the lady was like, you'll be tempted. Don't do it. When she woke up the next morning, she was very much underwhelmed and ready to get stuff done because everything wasn't in disarray. So I thought, wow, there's really something to this declutter and whatever. I've gone through it when we had to get our house ready to put on the market. The thinking is much clearer. Like you come home and be like, oh my God, there's nothing to do. What should I do?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because there's not everything everywhere distracting you because you want to do it all.
I agree.
You know, there is a program that somebody actually gifted to me, and I want to try it. It's called Wake Up Productive, and I think that sounds like one of those principles. It's on my list to try it.
Wake Up Productive. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, prepare before. Like it's all about preparing before, so you don't you already on the start. I really like that.
Yeah.
So it's 7:00, guys. So
Great.
All right. Good job. Who
Nice job.
has tomorrow?
Thank you.
Tomorrow's Thursday. Who has tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Friday, and CJ and Yolanda.
Oh, Friday. Got it.
Yay.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right.
Working
Okay.
hard.
Chapter is that 4 or 5?
5.
Chapter
Um,
5.
Yeah. And just to say, because the chapters seem to be pretty short, I'm not saying that chapter 5 is short, but if it is short, probably just combine 5 and 6. If it is short.
It's 3 pages.
Awesome, me.
It's only 3 pages?
It's 5 pages. I'm sorry.
Yolanda said
You're
you're
not
not the boss of her.
You're not the boss of me, Abdul.
I'm just saying because it's going to be hard to kind of stretch that information out from that kind of thing. So.
Veronica
I got
just
a whole lot of stuff I could talk about regarding just chapter 1 and 2
yeah.
that I never got to address.
Okay.
All right.
Bye,
All right,
guys.
guys.
Have a good
Your
day.
day, your rules. How's
Your
that?
day gets Yolanda rule.
Chuck and
There
Pat,
you go.
I'm going to respond to you guys today.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
great.
All right.
All right.
Goodbye.
Take care, guys.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.